It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. Oh, come on, Mr. Computer. My computer's not waking up. I need ER nurses really good with computers to fix this thing. ER nurses can do everything, right? Got a couple of them in the studio with me this morning. Ivy Rost is here, and Victoria Pachera. And here comes Mr. Computer is finally awakening. I should have done this before. How are you guys today?
We're good. How are you?
I'm fabulous. I'm fabulous. Anytime there's a nurse in the room, I'm fabulous. I spent a good portion of my life in emergency rooms because I'm a klutz.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
There we go. The computer is ready, and we can finally begin our conversation with Ivy and Victoria. Our conversation is brought to you by Marcus & Mack, voted best personal injury law firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Computer's never going to catch up. It's messing around. So we'll just go on. How are you guys today? You having a good day?
We're tired. We just got off night shift, but we're doing okay.
I know. You came right here.
We did.
After the night shift. So, I don't want to betray any trusts, but on a typical night, how busy are you? It's not a sit-around job, is it, Ivy?
It always depends. Every night's different.
Yeah.
So you don't know what you'll get in the ER.
I bet you it is some sort of an adventure. So let's talk a little bit about it's National Nurses Week. Yesterday was National Nurses Day. So let's learn about each of you and what you do in the emergency room. We'll start with you, Ivy. Where are you from?
So I grew up around Reading, PA, and then I moved up to Altoona for school. I went to Penn State Altoona and got my bachelor's in science and nursing. And I work as an RN in the ER.
And you just decided to stay in this neighborhood?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're glad you did. Glad you did. So you're an RN?
Yes.
Okay. And what about you, Victoria?
I live in Gallitzin, PA. I went to school at St. Francis for my BSN, and I also am an RN in the emergency room.
Mm-hmm. So you're a Cambria County girl?
I am.
Yeah. And where'd you go to high school?
I went to Penn Cambria.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
A Panther?
I am,
oh,
yes.
My goodness gracious. All right, so that's a little bit about who you are personally, but let's talk a little bit about what you do at school and at IRMC. Ivy, specific training when you go to school for nursing, is it all that different from, say, whatever Victoria went through? Is it the same basic work, or are there differences in the way that people are educated?
Probably pretty similar. I feel like we got a similar background.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When you start out, Victoria, is it scary?
Like school or in the ER?
School. Yeah, I'm thinking of school because that's where you get your first experience with it.
I think it's a little scary at first, but then the way, especially for us, the way it was set up, they kind of ease you into it, and then you get really scared. But I think that I think at first it's okay, and you learn the basics, and you kind of have a good basis to build from, which is nice. But then once you hit junior year of nursing school, you're kind of terrified because that's when everything hard starts.
Oh yeah. What made you want to be a nurse?
So I often think about this, but I grew up as a Navy brat, so I always saw my dad out helping other people. That was kind of our family thing. And then my brother, after he graduated school, became a police officer, and he was a state cop. So it's kind of like in our family nature to kind of give back to the people that are around you. So I wanted to do something that was similar to that, and then I kind of fell in love with nursing when I went to college.
Was there somebody in your life that was a nurse?
No.
No, really? Oh. What about you, Ivy? What made you want to be a nurse?
So for me, I was really lost in high school, and I ended up in the ER myself when I was 17. And I really loved the nurses there. They really had a good influence on me, and I wanted to be able to hopefully change someone else's life too, like they did for me.
Yeah, wow. That's a heck of a story. So it was the nurses that you saw in action that actually spurred you to maybe think about that for yourself.
Yeah. I went into school wanting to be an ER nurse, and then through the 4 years, I kind of strayed away from that, and then eventually ended back up in the ER.
Since that time, as you have become an RN and now you work in the ER, is ER where you always want to be, or is it something that evolves?
Probably not. I did want to do OB mostly in school,
Mm-hmm.
but it's harder to find those openings, especially starting out.
Yeah.
And I figured the ER, get a taste of everything, learn a whole lot, get a lot of skills.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. For you, what's your favorite part about being a nurse?
Probably just, helping someone, getting them through a negative experience. Going to the ER, you're typically scared or hurting or, something's not going well in life, and you hope to have that kind of fixed by the time you leave.
See it all in ER, don't you?
Yeah.
And every
absolutely.
type of person, old, young, all kinds of different medical problems that are going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess, Victoria, it is an education. Almost every day it's an education,
Yeah.
isn't it?
It is.
For you, what's the highlight of being a nurse? What really stands out for you?
I honestly think that, kind of what you just said, like the education, like we get to learn and do so much every day, and that like every day is different, especially in the ER, and it just kind of keeps you on your toes, and you also get to see people. It's rewarding, but you get to see people at their worst, and then you get to see them like transition into being into a better form than when they came in. And I think that's part of probably the most rewarding thing for me is like knowing that the job we do ends up getting people to where they need to be and like feeling better and getting to the right steps.
TV shows are nothing but adrenaline rushes, and they make it seem like it's extremely high tension, high stress, and it's like that every single moment, from the moment you punch in until you punch out every day. I know it's not like that, but there are moments, aren't there?
Yes, there are definitely moments. It has its moments where it's insanely stressful and you can't even really think at any point besides being focused on what you have to do. Is it anything like TV? I would definitely say no. You also have your times where you're just kind of going through the motions of taking care of your patients, just getting everything you need done. And then, like I said, there's the other times where you're just running around and don't get to sit down for a couple hours and trying to just save lives if it's something critical like that.
Yeah.
That gets your adrenaline through the roof and it makes you hold your breath for a couple minutes, but
Yeah. There are moments, Ivy, when on a night that might be just going along and just being a night, and all of a sudden everyone starts running. Something has happened in one of the exam rooms, or somebody comes through the front door, and you have to really spring into action. You have to be ready, don't you?
Oh yeah. Can happen anytime.
Yeah. In those moments, the teamwork aspect of it is really fascinating to me, because it seems probably to the patient that everybody knows exactly what they're supposed to be doing and where they're supposed to go. This is my role. I have to be here. You have to be there. Everybody knows exactly what the other person's doing. Is it like that in real life?
Not always. It depends on the group. If you're with a very familiar group, then sometimes it is like you have your set roles. But typically, I feel like at our job place, at least, we communicate very well. We're able to dictate things to each other and get things done in a pretty good manner.
You know, I always think in terms of sports, because I grew up my whole life playing sports, and you think of what everybody's role is on the team, and the way that you work, and here's the coach, and here's the quarterback, and here's this, and here's that. Is it a team concept as well, Victoria, in the emergency room?
I think it is very team-based. Like whenever we have those patients come through the door, like somebody kind of steps up and they do one thing, and then all of the other people come in and they're like, well, what do you need? Like, how can I help? And then they just do whatever you ask them to do, pretty much. I mean, kind of like a team, like, what do we need to do to get what we need to get done. And I think that's one of the great things about our group in the ER, that we are very fortunate to have those people that have no hesitation to walk in and just ask, what do you need? And they are looking at you as the primary nurse for this patient, and you're kind of the quarterback, so to say, behind the doctor, obviously. But until they get in there, they kind of just look at you for what you need. Even if you're not the most seasoned nurse, then we all have that trust in each other. And even we also have that question, well, also, do you want this? And I think it's really great that we have that respect and that teamwork that we have every day, that we can be comfortable in those positions to trust each other.
It to me, just watching everybody at work in the ER is a fascinating thing. And for you guys, it's every day, but for somebody else that gets to experience it only once in a while, and usually we're not at our best when we're in the emergency room, even if we're just with somebody who is suffering some sort of thing. That whole idea, people who come in and they're fearful, they don't know what's going on with their body, and they're afraid. They're in the ER. Everything is strange. People are running everywhere, at least in their mind. You have to put them at ease, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's hard because everybody copes differently and everybody has different fears. You have to kind of figure out what people are afraid of, you know, try to reassure them where you can without giving them promises that you can't always fill.
Yeah. It just, the whole dynamic of it fascinates me. So you guys are just getting off work and you're headed home. What for you, Victoria, is going to be the rest of the day? Do you go right to sleep? Do you have to calm down a little bit? Do you go work out? What do you do?
Well, I have a decent drive home, so normally that's my de-stress. So I'll go home. I probably will go right to sleep today. Long night, but sleep for a couple hours, and I've been trying to go to the gym more, so probably go to the gym today. And then just kind of relax for the rest of the day off. Just hang out with my dog. Probably go outside since it's beautiful outside. If it's supposed to stay like that all day, go for a walk. Just kind of get some fresh air and be grounded again. And
Yeah.
be refreshed, ready to go.
What about you, Ivy? What do you do for the rest of your day?
Yeah, I will also go home and go right to sleep. And then I'd probably get up and go to the gym, run some errands, and try to get back on a somewhat normal schedule.
Yeah. What you guys do is amazing to me. I'm so happy to be able to meet the both of you. And thank you to all of your colleagues for what you do. It is National Nurses Week, boys and girls. Let's be sure that we treat our nurses well all the time, but let's give them a little extra special care this time of the year. Ladies, thanks so much for coming in with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. We're 2 minutes away from 8 o'clock. Fox News comes your way then, and then we follow with news from our WCCS newsroom with Josh on a Tuesday morning.